Hi, welcome to this session. Many a times when we write codes in R, we get lost in the script that we write. So it becomes pertinent that our script becomes readable, or it should be readable, that when you refer to it sometime in the future, or probably you are sharing this script with somebody else, they should be in a position to read it, understand it, and use it. So that's the purpose of today's session, where we would understand some basic tips which makes your code more readable and legible, so that you or somebody else is in a better position to understand. So let's get started. This is one of the scripts we have used in the previous session where we performed some basic calculations using R. So I'll be using the same script and performing some basic activities or some basic tips that I'm going to suggest and provide to you, which makes your code more easy to read and probably more easy to refer to and understand. All right, let's see and start with it. First, using white spaces. You can see in this line 5, I've created a space. Likewise, line 8, there is a white space. Line 10, there is a white space. Okay, and so on. So as you see, there are some white spaces. So this is pretty obvious that I'm trying to segregate, but this makes very clear what you're about to do. It's almost like a paragraph change. So when you are attempting something new, it's always good to leave a blank or white space over there. Okay, so that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, use of hashtags. Whenever you are writing any script and you need to refer to it sometime in the future, or probably you need to share it with somebody else, it's always advisable to use some hashtags. Hashtags help you in writing comments. Okay, something like this. Now, for example, over here, I have performed an addition. Okay, so I put a hashtag and write, this is how you add numbers in R. Fine. So when you put this hashtag, it is a comment. So R would not execute that part which is preceded by a hashtag. For instance, let us say if I run this code, now you could see I have this. Okay, 2 plus 2 gives me 4. So this is how you add numbers in R isn't executed. For instance, if I remove this hash and see, I get an error. There is an unexpected symbol. So I hope you got this idea. Okay, so when you put this hashtag, that is a comment. So whenever you are writing something which you may need to refer in the future, or probably you need to share it with somebody else and they need to understand this, it's important that you write your comments using hashtag. Tip number 3, using headings and subheadings. How do we do that? Same way, you can use the way you have used your hashtags. For instance, I would give the heading something like this. I would say, I will use all caps, basic calculations in R. And again, I would put some hashtags. Fine. So this is the main heading. Then if I need to use some subheadings, I would use something like this. Basic, probably I will not use all caps. I would say basic math in R. Okay. So basic math, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So basic math in R. Likewise, I would say finding log values in R. Okay. Likewise, I would use working with exponents in R. Then probably assigning values. This is another subheading. Here, probably I would say creating vectors. Fine. And this is also like creating vectors, or I would say working with vectors. So what exactly I'm trying to do over here is I'm trying to create some subheadings or subtopics. Now I would say finding the length of vectors. Okay. Then I would say operating with vectors. Then probably the last one, that is removing objects and variables in R. Okay, so these are some subtopics I have created. So this way your script looks better and it's more readable. Now coming to tip number 4, you could see this in the main heading. I have a drop down button. Can you see this? Okay, so just if I click on this, you could see the entire code collapses. So I have this blue icon over here, click it, again the entire code that I have written, it appears. Same way this becomes collapsible. You click it, it collapses, it appears. Okay, now this is almost like creating topics, creating chapters. Fine, so you can do this with the subheadings as well. There are two ways of doing it. One is putting 4 minus signs, 1, 2, 3, 4. The moment I put 4 minus signs after every subheading, you could see this collapsible button or the drop down button appears. Okay, so let us do the same thing. I can the other way of doing this is putting 4 hashtags. Okay, the moment I put 4 hashtags, you could see that this collapsible button appears. So rather than doing hashtags again and again, I prefer using the minus sign. Okay, this is 4 minus signs. Same thing I would do for all. Okay, done with this. So I'm creating the subtopics or the chapters for easy access. Right, so this is the last one. Fine. So once you have created the various chapters or subtopics, this becomes very easy or handy for you to access a particular topic. Now, what you can do further with this, how you can access things much better. Okay, let us see. There are two things that I would like to show. First, you see this edit button. On top, you have this edit button. Go to your edit. So you have this option folding. Okay, so I use this collapse. Okay, so you have collapse, expand, collapse all, expand all. Okay, so when you use collapse all, you could see all the topics that I have created, they are collapsed. So if I just want to access a particular topic, for instance, over here, I want to work with finding log values in R. Just click on this button and you can read only that area. Fine, isn't this handy? So again, I collapse it. Again, I go to my edit. I could just go to folding and I could say expand all. So you could see all of them get expanded. Fine. Or just you can place it at any of the subtopic. Again, go to edit, folding, and I can say collapse. So only that chapter gets collapsed. Fine. And if I wish to expand only one chapter, so first let me collapse all. I say collapse all, and I want to expand only one chapter. So I click on this, you expand, or rather you have another option. Just you have your cursor in that particular line, go to edit, folding, expand. So only that chapter gets expanded. Fine. You have the keyboard shortcuts as well. You could see that when you go to this folding, for collapse, it is Alt L. For expand, it is Alt Shift L. For collapse all, it is Alt plus O. For expand all, it is Alt plus Shift plus O. Fine. So this is how you use the edit fold button, okay, folding button. Apart from that, you have another thing that helps you. Now you can see when you place your cursor on these lines, this is what is the show document on outline. It is like creating a table of contents or index page for your code. So when you click on this, you could see all the index is created over here, okay, whatever is available. So if I just want to see assigning values, so you come to that chapter where you have assigning values, working with vectors. Okay, you reach over here, click on it. So you have working with vectors. Okay, so that way it becomes easy for you to access any particular area of code by using this document outline. Good. So I hope you found these tips useful for making your code more readable. So when you're writing lengthy and elaborate codes, it becomes easy for you to access them, understand them, and share it with people. Thank you for watching.